Hello and welcome to Seismic Cinema. Welcome to the special Christmas edition of our podcast. I'm James. I have probably written an essay on it. Paul has watched it in the wrong order. And Colin?
I've probably not seen it.
How are you, mate?
I am good. I've been watching a lot of Christmas movies over the last couple of days, so just trying to get in as many as I can before the big day.
As expected. Do you watch Christmas films after Christmas Day, or do you just kind of...
The odd exception, but I kind of don't really look forward to watching them as much after the day.
Aye.
That's when I go into my kind of between Christmas and New Year cozy films.
Aye, I know what you mean, mate. It's I only do it if I've missed one out. Do you know what I mean? So I'll kind of go back to it.
Just doesn't feel the same afterwards, does it?
Nah, definitely not. So this isn't the normal type of episode that you'd be expecting. There is no film to review today. We were taking a wee break, but we kind of decided as a podcast that we want to thank everybody for their support, and that goes, from the support from our friends in the independent circuit to the viewers and listeners far and wide in different countries and things, which we obviously we do appreciate all that sort of stuff. So it is a wee Merry Christmas. This is unscripted. I have got no script in front of me, and it's going out as is. So you'll see maybe mistakes here and there, as if I don't make mistakes here and there anyway. But I just thought it'd be a good idea just to thank everybody, mate.
Aye. I could give a few wee shout outs to some of our guests over 2024 if you want.
If you could do that, mate, aye.
Yeah, so we've not had a guest on in a while actually, just in terms of when we do our episodes. The last person we had on was Marie from Two Girls, One Reusable Cup, and that was for the Hunger Games, and Marie was actually on earlier in the year for Shaun of the Dead, so she's been probably our most prolific guest. We've also had Jim from Castorol on for Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, which was the 25th anniversary, which it says on the description. We've had quite a few guests on for Seismic Soccer as well, which may make a comeback in 2025. So we've had Mark from Project Football Podcast. Who else have we had? We've had David and Neil from We Needed Roads podcast as well. We've also had Craig from What's the Script, a big friend of the channel. And we've also had Sean from Review It Yourself on for Seismic Soccer. And last but not least, we had Chat Tsunami, the PodPack founder himself, who came on for Wonka, which I can't believe. I remember sitting down doing that episode. It was when I dropped my phone on the laptop, wasn't it? And I really enjoyed Wonka. It's actually on Now TV now, so that's going to be one of my between Christmas and New Year films, actually.
Aye. I remember going to see Wonka with the school. It was kind of like a Christmas type of reward trip, and I was honestly lucky enough to go. I don't know if that's the term I want to use, but it was decent enough, the film. And I remember that episode because I thought you were hosting at the time, and I wasn't as a frequent hoster at that point in time. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to have to run with this. And luckily enough, we managed to save the day. So we had a good laugh out of it as well.
Yeah. No, it's been good. I think particularly the last quarter of the year has been particularly good for us in terms of consistency and like getting a consistent number of views and trying some new things out, like revealing at the end of an episode what we're doing next in our most recent one, which is where we've started putting out to the polls. So I think that's been working quite well. Something I'd like to keep going in the new year.
Aye, definitely. It's good to hear fellow people about what kind of films they want us to review, because it's easy enough just to pick your favourite films or whatever. But if it's something that gets us outside the comfort zone, that you've probably not seen anyway, mate. Do you know what I mean? So it's I like the idea. And again, it's still the engagement with the viewers and listeners.
And we're quite pleased at the last 9 episodes now have had over 200 views, which for a podcast with the subscribers we have. It's been pleasing. There's been a few kind of standout successes. V for Vendetta got over 300 views. The Matrix is at almost 500. Police Academy has been a bit of an outlier at 435 recently, and Jaws 420. So we're quite pleased with those numbers because, like, the way somebody phrased it once was, imagine those 420 people were sitting in a room and you could go and talk to them about the review. Like, it's actually seems a lot larger, because obviously it's easy to compare yourself to channels with millions or hundreds of thousands of subscribers, you know.
It's too easy to do that, but again, we can only compete against ourselves in our previous episodes and stuff. Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
you spoke about subscribers there. We're sitting at 165 now, so we've managed to get a couple of new subscribers. So thank you very much for subscribing. Hope you like the content. We still want to get the goal to 175. I don't think it'll be feasible by the end of the year, because since it's only 1 week or so left of that. But it shouldn't stop you. It doesn't cost you anything. A click of a button, and you get the random rabbles of myself and Colin, and sometimes Paul.
And if we keep doing this for another 10 years or something, we might reach 1,000 and start getting some revenue.
One can only hope, buddy.
Is there any? I thought this would be a good bit to do. Is there any films that maybe a sneak preview for the listeners? Is there any films you fancy doing in 2025, or you want to keep them?
No. I mean, well, obviously for the last poll, it's not came out yet, but obviously I had put Dread on there. I can't even remember which other ones. I put 21 Jump Street and Ocean's 11, actually, that I remember. I wouldn't say the ones jumped out at me. It's just because of the fact that we want to do a new year kind of reboot kind of idea. For films I would like to do for the new year, would be, I like to do Batman Begins.
Okay.
Even though we have done the Dark Knight, I like to go and do Batman Begins, or the most recent Batman, which I think you and Paul did actually.
We did that, yeah.
Aye. Who's to say I can bring anything to it though, mate? I might bring a better perspective, but a different perspective of it.
There's always scope to go back and look at things. The Shining's one I've always would love to go back and do with you, just to see your thoughts on it.
Aye. So the Batman Begins. I don't know. You put me on the spot here, mate. To be honest with you, I don't know. I need to think about it. But like I say, there's loads of films out there that I would love to do, but it just depends on the time of year as well. And again, we'd like to obviously try and, for the audience who listen to us and watch us, a bit of variety rather than going down the same kind of avenue of action horror. We do maybe do some romantic comedies, some kind of things like that. Do you know what I mean? Musicals, perhaps. Just to widen the variety of people who might want to tune in.
That's a fair point. Yeah, I've got a couple that I quite like to do. Either ones I've long wanted to do and just haven't done, or just thought of recently.
Let me guess.
Yeah, go.
Anchorman's
on the list. Yeah,
of course it is.
It's one of my favourite comedies. I'm surprised we haven't done it. Jurassic Park's one I've always quite fancied doing, and I thought dipping into some of the most popular kind of sci-fi fantasy ones. So maybe do a Star Wars original trilogy number. Maybe do a Lord of the Rings movie. Maybe do a Indiana Jones film. Just a few suggestions. And one other one I'll just suggest. One I really want to do. There's a few I really want to do, but one I really want to do is Forgetting Sarah Marshall.
Russell Brand,
which I just thought of recently. So I'll keep the rest to myself, but there was just a few ideas. It'd be cool to hear if there's any particular podcast highlights for you this year. Is any ones you particularly enjoyed, or movies you're glad we ended up doing, or anything that sticks out?
Anything that sticks out, I think. When we started doing the pilot reviews, I quite enjoyed doing them, and I'd quite like to bring that back at some point. Do you know what I mean? Like, obviously, I've finished Lost now, so for those who what you're watching, I have finished Lost. Season 6. So obviously that's will be the first time I've seen it. I've seen it a few times before that, but it's just how good it is. So I'd like to go, like in terms of the podcast I like doing the Lost, pilot. It was really good. I did like doing American Psycho. Thought that was a good review. I don't say so myself. I don't, in terms of highlights and how good they were, I think it was quite enjoyable moments, different variety of films and things. And I thought you would say Suits, mate. To be honest with you, I don't know if you're going to say Suits.
No, some of the ones I just skimming through. I'm glad we finally did Titanic. I thought that was a lot of fun.
Yes, of course.
That was good. Simpsons movie review was a good crack because it was the first time we did the wee quiz. Never
That's
it was like
right.
sudden death. That was fun. I really enjoyed doing Dead Poet Society and Good Will Hunting just because they're very deep movies.
Aye.
So that was a wee highlight for me, and also just discovering some wee films I'd never seen before. So like the Disturbia review is one that stands out. I thought Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban was a good laugh as well. We did quite a lot of impressions there.
That's
I
right.
enjoyed a lot of it, to be honest. Like I really enjoyed doing like The Ring as well. That was a lot of fun. V for Vendetta really stood out to me in terms of the films I've seen this year, and it's been great that I've actually done my two favorite Christmas films in Jingle All the Way and The Santa Claus. So yeah, there's been a lot of highlights this year, I would say.
No, it's been pretty good. It's been, again, we've had the kind of it's been steady. Do you know what I mean? We've not really took breaks here and there, so it's been quite consistent in that way. So I've
There was a
enjoyed doing it.
wee break when Baby Amber made her arrival, but that was understandable. And then since we got back into it with the pilot reviews, we've had a good run at it.
That's right. We're not taking much of a break for the new year. I think we're going to get cracking again on the first week of January. So we're going to put the polls out and let the people decide what they want us to review.
I think it's important to just reflect on why we do podcasts in the first place. And I was actually talking to a friend about it last night, and I said I always come off of doing the reviews in a really good mood and a really good buzz, and I feel like it sets you up for the day. I think it's a good thing to look forward to at the end of a working week, for example. And I just enjoy the conversations getting quite deep. Like we've talked quite deep about like the Santa Claus and like Hocus Pocus. Like we were able to delve quite deep into like a lot of the character arcs in these films that on the surface wouldn't appear that deep.
No, that's true, and I think as well that's something that we like to do. Do you know what I mean? We call a film for what it is sometimes, but we like to go into more kind of character developments and themes of films, and that's something I like doing, personally anyway. So it's good, that we both can try and bring that out in an episode for a film.
And it's all part of my journey and like the joke is I haven't seen things, but having done this for 3 years now, that's probably not as much of the case because obviously I've ticked off a lot of the ones, but there's obviously still a lot more to go. Just before we start kind of heading off, I thought maybe just it'd be good to just highlight some of the people who are the most supportive to us on like social media. So obviously there's the Podpack Collective, and I'll just bring that up there. So Chat Tsunami's forever sharing our stuff, as is Nerdstalgic, Casting Views. We've done some guest spots as well. I went on to do the Mind Wipe series.
Aye, and we've both done the Black Mirror as well, haven't we? With Dan and Dan.
Yeah,
so
I did
good as well.
San Junipero, and Paul was on with a Stu World Order for what was that again? The Watchmen.
Watchmen, aye.
And other people that just give us a lot of love on the socials. There's if I can find it, the Muddy Dragon 3000.
Aye.
Forever
sharing our stuff, so thank you very much.
Forever sharing our stuff. What's the script? Had a great support, as is Project Football. Just don't want to miss anybody. Just want to highlight. Watch if you can. Good supporters of the channel as well. Gray's Tap Room, We Needed Roads. All these folk are always sharing our stuff. and getting involved, you know.
Aye. Now, if we haven't said your name, you know, that's not to say that we don't appreciate it. Of course we do. Do you know what I mean? It's
This is just the lack of prep for this episode. It's just
like I said, it's
having a wee skim.
ad hoc. It's just like, let's do it, and then realised, shit, we don't really have a script here as such. We try to be professional, mate, but at the end of the day, probably never will be.
I think it's also good just to give a wee shout out to Paul, although he's not been on a review in a while, and we do miss him. It'd be good to maybe get him on at some point in 2025. But we do appreciate all the stuff he does behind the scenes with the editing and the artwork and the networking.
Definitely. Cheers, Paul. I know you do a lot of the networking with the
Me,
Podpack Collective
me
and
and
all
James, me and James can't handle group chats.
that. Listen, I can't handle my own chats. Never mind.
Some folk just can't handle group chats.
You can't handle the group chats.
And a shout out to, although Seismic Soccer's had a bit of a hiatus, a big shout out to Gary. It's something brand new for him, and I think anyone who's been on with Gary or listened to Gary says how great he is and how balanced he is, giving his opinion on football.
That's true. I'm balanced as well, though, aren't I?
No.
I try to be.
But you've single-handedly destroyed at least 2 group chats this year.
That's a bit harsh, man. 2 group chats?
Nah, just one.
Just the one? I'm wondering on the other one is.
Only John.
Okay. No, thank you again, Gary. You know, Seismic Soccer hopefully will come back in a kind of new format next year. We're still in discussions with
that. We're thinking of maybe doing it at like the end of the month, and then Paul and Gary could maybe lead that, and me and James could come on if it suited us, or we can maybe take a wee week off, because it is quite a commitment doing it every weekend, you know.
I know we are busy peeps at the end of the day, so I wouldn't mind just coming into a podcast episode and not doing prep for it and just talking.
Well, that's how it works well when, like, 1 week you host and 1 week I host. It's quite nice when you have that week in between where you don't need to do all the planning out, you know.
That's true, mate. I do like that.
Mm-hmm.
I do like that.
Yeah, is there anything else we want to add?
I don't think so.
I think it was quite good for unplanned, you know.
Aye, I think, I don't know, we're both done not too bad. Again, just a Merry Christmas, everybody, and have a good New Year. Stay safe and all that stuff. Again, thank you for all your support, subscribing, sharing, liking, everything, commenting on stuff that we produce. So we very much appreciate it.
Yeah, and all the best for the Bells.
All right, excellent. So I'm going to sign off now then. So I'm James. I have probably written an essay on it. Paul has probably watched something in the wrong order. And Colin?
I've probably not even listened to a Seismic Cinema episode this year.
Ho, ho, ho.